Melanated family, how is everybody doing, man? Your brother Harrison back for a brand new episode, right, of the Melanated Convo podcast. Now, today, my brother Chris Lodgson was supposed to be on the show. Chris is one of the grassroots organizers for the reparations movement that we have going on right now here in California. If you're not aware, here in California, where I'm from, the governor created a reparations task force designed to examine and explore the atrocities done to Black Americans, specifically in California, to come up with something to determine what we should be repaid or what type of restitution should be restored, right? So, Chris, shit happens. He was busy tonight. He wasn't able to come on the show. So, next week, the brother will be back. So today, Chris Lodgson from CJEC is the name of the organization he represents that, like I said, do a great job just on the grassroots level when it comes to reparations. And I have the brother on the show a lot because I'm a firm believer in, being repaid for what you do to people, basically, right? Because looking at American history, man, people have a lot of pushback for reparations, but in reality, there's been 50, 60, 70 some odd cases of a form of reparation given to an American who was done wrong by the government. So there's nothing abnormal about it. Of course, there's a lot of pushback being presented, but I'm all for it. So the brother wasn't able to be on the show this week. He's going to be on the show next Tuesday at 7:30. I have my brother Chris Lodgson on the show who will be discussing all the details about the reparations movement, because like I said, he's on the inside. Like he been working close hand to hand with the California Reparations Task Force. They've been doing a great job just bringing attention to the need for something like that. Like the task force here in California is, to my understanding, the first of its kind, especially how far they've been able to get. You know what I mean? So today, I'm doing the show by myself. The show will be solo, bolo. Hit the like button, subscribe to the Melanated Convo. Few announcements I want to make before we get started. Let me get my phone real quick. So, first things first. If you want to purchase a shirt, this shirt here, the Melanated State of Mind shirt, I have it in maybe 3 or 4 other colors. I also have the podcast logo shirt, the logo you see in the back. I got those shirts as well, right? So if you go to, the name of the company is Precision Design Studio. That's Precision Design Studio. So if you want to buy one of these shirts, I'll have more shirts coming soon, right? I'll have more designs, more affirmations. But if you want to purchase one of the shirts, family, please go to Precision Create. PrecisionCreate.com is the website. You can get one of the 2 shirts I have currently, the Melanated State of Mind shirt, or you can get the podcast shirt on the website. If you look at all the links, I also do customization. So if you have a business idea, you have a hobby, you have something that you're into and you want to put it on the shirt, a family event, anything of this nature, come rock with your boy. Go on the website. You can see the prices. I'll work with you. You know what I mean? We can figure it out to make sure you get what you're looking for. That's why I call the business Precision, because I want to precisely give you exactly what you want as far as the design. So, I can design the shirt for you. I can do the logo. I have a flyer service as well. So that is Precision Create, precisioncreate.com. On that website, you can find these shirts. You can find a link that'll give you more information about the customization process. So if you have a shirt idea, a hobby, a business, a podcast, anything you into that you want to put on the shirt, holla at your boy and I can help you out. You feel me? Also, this Saturday, what is this Saturday? This Saturday, the 21st. This Saturday, the 21st. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Let me get the date right, family. Let me get the date right. Let me see here. Yeah, so today, your brother will be doing the show solo. Chris Lodgson will be on the show next Tuesday. He was supposed to be on the show today, but shit happens. So he'll be on the show next Tuesday. Actually, this Sunday. So what I want to tell everybody, this Sunday the 21st, if you're in Sacramento, Sunday the 21st, if you're in Sacramento, California, the 3rd annual Malcolm X Fest is going down this Sunday. My brother Barry Axius and his daughter, you know, if you're from Sacramento, you know Barry. He's one of the heavy hitters in my city as far as empowerment and doing things necessary to put your people in a particular position. I'm not gonna lie, that brother get it in. You know what I mean? So this Sunday, if you're in Sacramento, the 3rd annual Malcolm X Fest. At this event, it's a free community event, vendors, food, entertainment, but also just like last year, it was a pleasure of mine. Just like last year, I will be doing a live episode of the Melanated Convo podcast at this event. So if you're in Sacramento, family, come check me out. It's 1913 Del Paso Boulevard, Sacramento, California, 95815. This is the 3rd annual Malcolm X Fest. Vendors, food, performances, really great event. If you in Sacramento and you black, please try to make your way to this event. And your brother will be doing his podcast live from this venue. So it'll be a live, interactive environment. So yeah, I'll have people on the panel with me speaking, but I'm gonna be asking questions to the audience. Everybody will be able to participate. You know what I mean? And I'm honored that my brother reached out to me to do this. So this Sunday, the 21st of May, the 3rd annual Malcolm X Fest, brought to you by Black Blueprints. That's my brother's clothing line, Barry Axius clothing line. So come out, man. Enjoy the live show. You know what I mean? Honor the brother Malcolm X. Last year, it was a nice turnout. Like the times I've went to this event, the turnout is nice. But, I mean, it's a lot of black folks in Sacramento. You know what I mean? So I know sometimes you're going through shit or you got other plans. I get it. But if you can, please make this event. It's important, family, that you try your best to attend things that have a empowerment mechanism to them. Like, that's important because shit, like I always say, you know, if somebody tell me there's an event that's about empowerment or structuring black folks, just some black shit, people can't go, but shit, let Lil Boosie come to town. You know what I mean? Let your favorite rapper come to town. All of a sudden, you got a new outfit and gas money. You know what I mean? So let's treat conscious events that way, or events that's made to empower black people and put us in a better position. That's what all this shit is for. So this Sunday, the event's from 12 to 6. Not sure yet when I'll be going live with my show, but I'll be in the building selling my shirts. I'll have shirts for sale too. Again, that's 1913 Del Paso Boulevard. So let's get into it. Today, what I want to talk about, like I said, I'm doing the show solo today, but I want to have a conversation that I want to embark on with the family, right? Because we all know that black fathers in America get a bad rap. Like, from people outside of our community, they depict our fatherhood like we're less than, we're not good enough, we don't do things right. And in actuality, statistics have shown that we're more involved than other fathers. Black fathers are more involved in the day-to-day activities, homework, making lunch, putting kids to bed, reading to them, all this shit. We're more involved, or just as involved, as all races of men, right? So let's get that straight. I'm not coming down on my brothers. However, we need to have a conversation though, right? Because yeah, there's a lot of us figuring it out, doing the things necessary to put our children in the best position to be successful, et cetera, et cetera. This is the fact. But we need to be honest. That's not all of us. Some of us, because I've been there. I've been a young black father who didn't quite know what direction to go. Didn't have a man in my life to show me certain things. So I fumbled and I approached the parenting part a little fucked up. I approached the relationship with the women a little fucked up. You know what I mean? So we're going to have that conversation today. Title of the show is The Black Father Convo. What are we doing wrong? Again, I preference this show by saying I know by no stretch of the imagination do we have the bulk of black fathers being degenerates and not supporting their family and not doing what they can for the kids. That's not true. But if we're in a society, if we look at black society as its own small community, in order for us to make the largest amount of improvements, we have to look at the lowest common denominator amongst all of us and improve them. Because if we have black men and black fathers who are thriving and doing most things right, supporting your family, made a relationship with your woman, great career, you good. You can take a little criticism or there's some things you may need to do right, but you good. We need to talk to the young dudes who don't got it all together, right? We need to talk to the young dudes who got 2, 3, 4 kids, even one kid, but not quite sure what to do, not quite sure if the route they're taking is the most beneficial direction to make sure everything is straight. Because something I had to learn, something I didn't know as a young father, I got to keep it real. I didn't realize the gravity of my responsibility. I didn't realize the gravity of the amount of accountability I had to put into the game, regardless of what the woman did. See, sometimes as fathers or young fathers who aren't mature yet get into this shit where you tripping on your baby mama or the woman you have a kid with, when in actuality, you not being accountable. In actuality, this is a woman that you chose. In actuality, there may be some things about your life that's not structured correctly that's making her trip on you. This actually happens, right? I know women trip sometime, and we can get into that another time, right? But today, we're talking about the brothers. Now, before I get into that, because normally on my show, I do news stories with my guests and people I'm talking to. No news stories today, but one thing I did want to talk about, right? Because the young brother, John Morant, 23-year-old Memphis Grizzlies point guard. John Morant is a Hall of Fame type NBA player. This young brother has a lot of athleticism, great basketball player, right? But over the past 2 months, he had a few mishaps. The brother had a gun 2 months ago. He brandished a gun on camera. A few days ago, he just brandished a gun on camera. To my understanding, there's been small incidents with him in the mall and different places, right? And rightfully so, because when I look at when people do shit in society today, and I look at social media and I see the backlash and the different opinions, I don't get too up in my feelings about it, because this is what it's for. Like, public things happen. We have all these platforms. People are going to speak their mind publicly, whatever, right? But of course, he's been getting a lot of shit about having that gun. The second video coming out of him having a gun, waving it in the car with his partner while he's driving. Completely stupid shit. Let's get that part correct. Stupid decision. You should not be brandishing a firearm if you don't plan on using that motherfucker. This is a fact, right? However, let's look into it. This is how I look at situations like that. Because for one, and I haven't researched it, so y'all correct me if I'm wrong, give your input. I don't know this young man, so I don't know his upbringing. I've seen a few things. I know he was raised with his father, right? I don't know if they was raised in the hood. I don't know where his father's from. I don't know his father's demeanor. I don't know the schools he went to. I'm not sure of how can I put it? I'm not sure of his American black experience. Being a black man in America, like they say a lot, we're not a monolith, meaning we're different. Some of us are raised in the hood, some of us are raised with 2 parents, some of us are raised in the suburbs, some of us was in foster care. Like it's completely the full spectrum of what can happen to a young person in America. So I don't know this brother's upbringing, right? But what I will say, because here's the thing, this is what I think. If you a young black man and you grew up in the hood meaning all black enclave with no resources. that's the hood. Like you grew up in a community where the median income is 25,000, 35,000 or less. It's a heavy police presence. It's a heavy drug presence. It's dilapidated buildings. It's potholes. It's no resources. You feel me? This is the hood. Now, in my opinion, if you were a young black man that grew up in these circumstances, even if you weren't a participant, I grew up in these environments, but never was a participant in any of the shit I seen. But because of my brothers, my family, things I was around, you're able to get a grasp on the language of the community, like the temperament of individuals in this environment, right? So I think that makes you move a little bit different. I'm not sure what John Morant's history in our neighborhoods are. Now let's because again, I don't know. So let's place it. Let's say John Morant is a young black man who never grew up in the hood. Never grew up in the hood, never had to deal with poverty, never had to deal with gun violence, never had to deal with parents on drugs, which is all great things. Let's keep the shit real. It's you shouldn't have to go through that type of childhood, right? But this is what we need to factor in. I don't know if this is his case. I don't know if this is his situation, but hear me out, because this could be something a lot of young black men can learn from. We all are aware that in American society today, hip hop music, trap music, all the new shit that comes out, it's consumed primarily by people who aren't black, right? This has been the case for some decades now. The bulk of rap music is purchased by suburban white children. This is a fact. But here's a caveat. What if, and I'm sorry for sweating, y'all, my AC not working right now, and I'm in this goddamn office, and this heat is beating me up, but we're going to get to it. You know what I mean? What if you have a young black man who's not raised in the hood? Not raised in the hood, doesn't have a traditional hood experience at all, right? My opinion, when this young black man listens to hip hop music, when he consumes hip hop culture, he may begin to act like the white suburban kid. See, follow me, because the white suburban kid, it's like peeking through a glass. It's like looking at the zoo. Like, I don't got to touch shit, but I see it's violent. That's enough for me, right? I think young black kids from suburban America who don't have no hood experience, don't have any knowledge of how those environments work, they sometimes become worse than the white kid. Why? Because they're black too. So they feel a disingenuous connection to the music, to the culture, right? So I say that because when I'm looking at John Morant wave a gun in the car while listening to music, to me, this seems like a young black man that ain't never been around none of that shit. This is beyond, I can't even fathom why a young person would do this. Well, only thing I can think of is you don't have no connection to that part of the culture. So you're in your car, listening to trap music, waving a goddamn gun. This absolutely makes no sense. People, like, the gun can go off. The police can drive by. Now, granted, we got to factor in that this is a 23-year-old black man that's rich. Some people online talking about Josh shouldn't do this. You know, everybody's giving their opinion, like I said a few minutes ago, but a lot of us don't know how it feel to be 23-year-olds with $20 million. You don't know what the fuck you would have done. Now, maybe you wouldn't have flashed the gun on camera, granted, but there possibly some other stupid shit you could have got yourself into. So let's not be too judgmental on a 23-year-old black man, right? Even though that's stupid, even though you look at that situation and you say, you did this shit 2 months ago, who's in your corner? Is your pops talking to you? I don't know what kind of relationship he got with his pops. I've heard things like his pops is like his friend, or his pops is living his best life too now that they got bread. Who knows? I am not judging this young black man, and nobody should. We don't know how it feels to walk in his shoes. Yeah, he's in the position to make his family wealthy. Like, what the money John Morant will accumulate over the next 5 to 7 years will change the life of his family in 3 to 4 generations to come. But shit, me being a young man who didn't fucked up a lot, who didn't made questionable ass decisions, sometimes you got to go through it. And wherever you land, but sometimes you got to go through it. But this may be a young black man who not connected to the hip hop, who not connected to hood culture like that. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to touch on that a little bit when I get into, because the conversation today we're going to have, family, is about black fatherhood. Young black fathers my age, we're going to get into some of the shit we do wrong that prevent us from being there for our children, that prevent us from putting our best foot forward. We're going to get into that, right? But I just wanted to mention the brother John Morant because I support that young brother. What he did was stupid, but we don't know how it feels to walk in his shoes, right? We don't know how it feels to walk in his shoes. We don't know how it feels to have that much money. We don't know how it feels. Me personally, don't know how it feels to possibly, I don't know if this is his situation, but possibly be a suburban black kid who wants to show a connection to the hood, who wants to show, who's taking that music and the energy from that music in doing stupid shit. Because what we can't do as black folks who getting a little bit older is we can't discount the effect of music. We can't discount the effect of energy, right? The energy this music possesses. And now, because I'm a hip hop fan, always have been, always will be, but I got to look at the sections of it now. I'm listening to people who are my age or a little bit younger. Most of the rappers I listen to are over 30 years old, for the most part. It may be a couple that's younger, but it's a genre thing. Like it's not all the same no more. Other genres of music have categories based on age groups. Hip hop is 50 years old. It's one of the youngest forms of music, if not the youngest form of music, if I'm not mistaken. We haven't quite done that yet, right? We haven't quite separated and said, okay, this is for you, this is for you. So right now, shit is all convoluted. So he's listening to music that is very simple, vibe oriented, and violent as shit. We have to admit that. Some of the trap rap now, like some of the hip hop artists I listen to, will tell you a story, about violence, how to prevent certain things, a lot of lyrics, a lot of metaphors. That's what I was raised on. This generation, it's a vibe they fucking with. It ain't necessarily the complexity of the words. It's just a vibe, and a very simplistic vibe at times. And that simplistic vibe, a lot of times, be violent as shit. So we need to understand that hip hop, the music, the energy from it, it has an effect, family. Real quick. So I got 5 kids. 4 of my kids did not live with me growing up. They would come to my house on the weekends, sometimes more than that, but that was our relationship. I love them, always had a connection to them, but that was our relationship. Now, they went home to their mom's house, who lived in a more urban community setting, right? When my kids was young, I let them listen to hip hop. Everything I listened to, I played it. I tried to educate them, give them the history about shit. This was my approach. Well, in my opinion, what was wrong about that is if you listen to hip hop and you're in the hood, you're in the environment that these guys are talking about, that can be damaging, because now you feel like you have to participate. You feel like you have to do some of the things you're hearing. You feel like they're really talking to you. It could be a negative effect, right? But also, what I'm learning, if you're a young black man who don't come from the hood, who don't come from poverty or none of the things you're hearing in the music, like I said a few minutes ago, you may take this like the white kids do. You may look in the glass like you're looking at a zoo, but I think sometimes because you black, you think you have to participate more. Because you black, you may have a friend or an associate who live in a certain hood, so you got to turn it on. And all this is negative. Like, I don't condone John Morant having a gun in the position he did it in, but a lot of young people, based on the music they listening to, based on the culture, they do stupid shit. So I think ultimately he'll be okay. You know what I mean? Like, he'll still keep his job. They thinking about suspending him for half the year, whatever Adam Silver said the other day. But the last thing I'll say about this, now I got to shout out JJ Redick. I was watching ESPN on accident because I don't really watch ESPN and stations like that as much as I used to. I was watching something, and a clip of JJ Redick popped up, and he said something. He was thinking what I was thinking, because look, yes, what John Morant did was wrong. Waving a gun in that manner, it shouldn't happen. It's against the rules of the organization you work for, whatever. But how the fuck can America be so hypocritical when it comes to guns, right? How can we be so hypocritical when our usage of guns in America is ruining the country? Has been for decades upon decades. Our usage of the gun, our ability to purchase the gun, the politicians' neglectful nature with creating gun laws that's truly going to protect us. How some politicians have taken pictures with guns, have created laws that say you can use them, have basically been advocates of people having weapons and respecting their Second Amendment rights. I get this, right? But we can't be hypocrites because, to my knowledge, what John Morant did wasn't a crime. If I'm a licensed gun owner in the states that allowed you to carry, if I'm a licensed gun owner and I have my gun out in my car waving it, who's the wiser? Who am I hurting? Right? Now, we got to factor in NBA and these organizations. They, to me, my opinion, they appreciate the black athlete. They love your athleticism. They love your tenacity, your height, your fucking melanin. They love all this shit, but they don't want everything that comes with being black in America sometimes. Some of us, not speaking about John Morant specifically, but some of us come from environments where it's hard to shake off the remnants of that environment, whether it be the gang shit, whether it be certain hood mentalities. It's hard to shake it off. And it's my opinion that the NBA is like, I want your talent and your vigor, but I don't want none of the shit that come with your black ass. You see? So I'm not making an excuse for John Morant, but this is real shit. Because in America, we love guns. Can we admit this? We love guns. In my opinion, if we see an American waving a gun, what's the problem? There was just a damn mass shooting like 2 days ago, 3 days ago. And if institutions, the government, really cared about gun legislation, not using them, not brandishing them, do something about all the gun violence in our country. Do something about all the several upon several individuals who's lost their life by the hands of a damn gun. So it's hella hypocritical to approach shit from and again, the NBA can do whatever they want. I'm just saying from a larger perspective, America is fascinated with gun and gun violence, and we've done nothing since the inception of this country. Name the thing we've done in the past 50 years to ensure gun violence is cut down, to ensure the mass shootings is cut down, right? Mass shootings, different type of shootings happens more in America than anywhere else. Other countries have had small bouts of gun violence and vigilante violence, and they've put shit in place to stop it. So if we're not willing to do that, let's not be so harsh on individuals brandishing weapons. Right now, I know Memphis Grizzlies, you have the bylaws in which you expect your players or the guys you hire to abide by. I get all that. I'm not questioning that. But in America, gun violence, gun usage, gun advocacy is very pervasive, and it's everywhere, and it's celebrated. The politicians, the people that make the laws, they show us all the time. This shit is celebrated. So yeah, he shouldn't have had the gun. Yeah, he should be punished. But the severity of it should be thought about really delicately. You know what I mean? Because he didn't hurt nobody. Now, he could have, using the gun the wrong way, it could have just went off and hurt somebody, punish him. But let's punish the other white supremacists who use these guns in haste. The other individuals in this country that use this gun in haste. You feel that use guns in haste. You know what I mean? So shout out to that young brother. I'm sending love his way. I know he gonna get it together. But if we gonna tell John Morant to put down his gun, tell the white supremacists to put down their fucking guns. You know what I mean? Now, let's get into the convo real quick, family, before I get out of here again. Hit the like button, hit the share button, go to Precision Create. PrecisionCreate.com is the website for Precision Design Studio, my website where you can buy this shirt, several other colors. This is the Melanated State of Mind shirt. Got the logo podcast tee, or the shirt with the podcast logo on it. New designs coming soon, but also I customize shirts. If you know somebody who's having an event, need 20 shirts, 30 shirts, send me your logo, the color of the shirt you want. I'll make it precise to your liking. You feel me? So that's precisioncreate.com is where you can find these shirts. And like I said, I customize shirts. I do logos. I do flyers, any of those different things that you need, right? So let's get into it real quick. The title of the show today, family, is the Black Father Combo. What are we doing wrong? Now, when I started the show, I preferenced how much we do as Black fathers, like all the things we do correctly, right? But let's get into it because I see way too much shit I don't like. I see a lot of shit that I see people repeating some of the mistakes I made. as a young father, right? Because we talk about building a community and we talk about building legacy for our children. If we talk about stopping racism, if we're talking about like creating our space in this country in a correct way, the man is extremely important, right? So here are some of the mistakes I think young Black fathers, older Black men make the mistakes too, but I want to target the young dudes, right? Like target our youth, the dudes that are coming up behind us so they can understand some of the negative effects of our decisions that we make. So look, first thing I want to touch on, like if you a young Black dude who got a kid, this is if you got one kid, multiple children, it don't matter, right? It's important as a man that you establish like a level of partnership with the woman you had a kid with. All too often, and I did this myself, you have a kid with a woman and now she ain't shit. Now you don't want to be involved in certain aspects of the kid's life. You don't want to be involved in some of the decisions that have to be made. You don't know the importance of having an issue with your kid, whether it be money, whether it be stability, whether it be mentality, whatever it is, you're having a problem with the woman and you don't understand the importance of a partnership. Like, hear me when I say this, Black fathers, if you have a baby with a woman that you don't like, if you have a baby with a woman that in your mind you're deeming ain't shit, she ain't worth it, whatever the case may be, look, before you can put yourself in a position mentally where you have all this contempt for her, bro, you had sex unprotected. Let's take a step back and look at our complete involvement. I've been there talking about the women I have kids with like they ain't shit. Oh, this bitch ain't shit. She ain't nothing. She all she want is money. She ain't a good mother. All this shit. Well, you should have thought about this shit before you had a baby with her. Now, granted, some dudes are in situations where they don't see none of this coming. It's rare, in my opinion. It happens, but that's rare. Normally, you know exactly who you laid down with. You know exactly who you lay down with. You know exactly what they about. So don't complain when they go to child support to you. Now, I don't agree with going to the system for help at all. Like, don't get me fucked up. I don't agree with this. But we got to be accountable, man. All too often, I see young Black dudes, I see Black fathers getting the shit where you mad about her response to your neglect. If we approach shit the right way, most times you should be okay. So when I say partnership, I mean looking at the full scope of what needs to take place in the kid's life. Because I've been there where I've been a young father where I didn't have money. Like I was paying hella money in child support. I didn't know how to communicate to women that, hey, I don't have the funds to facilitate whatever you just asked me. Like I'm struggling, right? But my pride is getting in the way. So here's the thing. Solving a problem with a woman you have a kid with isn't all about money. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Let's say, and I just told my son this. Shout out to I'm not gonna say his name. Shout out to my son who has children, and we have these type of discussions. And he's a young man who watched me be a young man, so he takes on some of my traits as a man, and I have to be realistic about that. You know what I mean? But what I was telling him the other day, look, if your baby mama, the woman you got a kid, would come to you with a problem about the kid, let's say it's a financial problem. I need X amount of dollars, and you know in your mind you don't have it. Now, how I would approach it back in the day, because of my frustration, because of my immaturity, because of my ego, I would get upset. Like, damn, I'm paying all this money in child support, or I'm putting out as much as I can financially. I don't got it. So I would get an attitude. I would yell and scream. I would do insults, all this sucker shit, right? Well, in actuality, a lot of women, not all, because some of y'all women, y'all be on some bullshit, and we can talk about that another time. But sometimes a woman just wants a partner. A woman just wants somebody to say, cool, let's do this together, right? You can say as a man, look, I just spent my last $20. I know you just asked me for 50. How about this? How about we come together and see who we can borrow it from? What do you need the money for? Oh, you need to go somewhere? You need to put gas in your car? You need to get dropped? Oh, maybe I don't got money, but I got gas right now. Boom, I can drop you off. It's really being solution oriented. And again, this I'm speaking to a certain man. I'm speaking to dudes who was raised like me, dudes who was like me. All men don't deal with this shit. I know some, I've always known fathers, young fathers who hella responsible, right? Like make the correct decision in most cases. I'm like, damn, that's inspiring to me because I was not that dude, right? But the situation in our communities where we have young men and young women having babies hella early, having hella kids, not being able to financially support them, not being able to look towards the future for resources, this shit needs to stop. Like as much as I talk about racism and white supremacy and with this system, the pervasiveness of their activities and the institutionalized problems, this is all true. But let's hold ourselves accountable too. Let's put ourselves in the best position to deal with this system the correct way. And too often, right? Too often, some black men, we not approaching the fatherhood shit from the correct perspective. So be a partner. You may not have the money to do what she wants to do. You may not have the resources completely, but what do you have? What do you have? See, if you approach, and again, we're assuming this is a fair-minded woman who's trying to solve an actual problem, right? We're going to make that assumption. You got to be solution oriented. What can I do? Do I need to make the phone call? Do I need to set up the doctor's appointment? Do I need to look for some cheaper medication? Like, what the fuck do I need to do? Checking out, throwing your hands up as the man in the situation, that shit can't happen. And let's be honest, we got too many young dudes like me who was raised without a father. So you have no blueprint on what the fuck it means to be a man inside of a home. Don't be afraid to tell yourself that. Don't be afraid to admit that. You see what I'm saying? So that's one thing. Being a partner. And being a partner is realizing that it's not all about money, but you need money. You need to grind. You need to work hard. You need to put something in place for your children. Yes, but when you don't got money, don't check out. Don't see it as a way out. See it as a way in, damn near. Regardless of what we dealing with, I'm going to help lead the situation. I'm going to help create the structure. I'm going to be a leader. You know what I mean? I'm going to make decisions. See, this is something some of our young black men got to be aware of. You know what I mean? So yeah, partnership is important. Being able to remove your ego when you know it's something you don't got and just be solution oriented. Use whatever resources you do got. You know what I mean? Another thing about young black fathers, something I see too often. This is now again, all black fathers can benefit from this conversation. I'm speaking to the young ones, but this happens too often with all fathers too. Your level of stability is vital. Young black man, if you're a father, your level of stability is vital. If you a young black man that got a baby, but you ain't really thought about getting your own spot, you ain't really thought about getting a job yet, you out there nickel and dime hustling. You know what I mean? Like we got so many young men in our community who need to divorce the streets. Like somebody need to tell you. Yeah, JP. I'll touch on that in a minute, but you're right. Wearing a condom is like a legacy protector. That's how young men should treat sex. Yeah, have fun. Do what you need to do. Like with women, be truthful to them and maneuver how you want to maneuver, but wear a damn condom. Like I heard somebody say this one time and it made a lot of sense to me. Like just thinking about sex and protection and how you approach it. Who would you give your social security number to? Would you walk into a bar, talk to a woman for 5 minutes, then write down your social and bounce? Fuck no. So treat your dick like your social. I ain't just giving it out. I'm going to protect it. I'm going to protect it with everything in me. You see what I'm saying? I'm being funny, but JP, you're right. You got to wear a condom because again, I have 4 kids by the age of 22 years old. I know a lot of men who were in similar positions, but I always make this declaration. I know a lot of dudes who didn't though. Some was lucky. I got to keep it real. Some had unprotected sex, just just didn't end up having kids. But I knew some dudes who were just sexually responsible. I admired those brothers. So that's what we need to strive to when talking to our young men. You got a young man, you got a young cousin, a young brother, your young son. Sexual responsibility is one of the keys to creating a legacy that can be everlasting, right? Because fuck what anybody told you, young black man. If you have a baby, you should live in the house with that woman and that baby. If you didn't set it up that way, you did something wrong. Not saying you can't correct it. Not saying you still can't be a good father, a good partner for her. Not saying none of that, but let's keep it real. I have 5 children. One live in my house with me. I can't even explain the differences. These are things that as a young dude, I didn't even understand the ramifications of what I was doing. So that should be your first thing. You should be in the house with the woman you decided to have a baby with, right? But if not, you have to create a level of stability yourself. I know a lot of dudes who live off women. Like you don't have your own spot. Like you're not secure in your living situation. You're not secure in your job situation. And that shit affects your children. A lot of dudes try to almost check out of the parenting piece until they get their shit together. I don't recommend doing that, but it's the pressure. It's your ego. It's not having, right? So should be all a part of the thought process when you decide to have a goddamn baby. You got to be stable. Now, this ain't to say you got to have some big ass house where you can bring your kids to in some luxurious situation. No, but you got to try to have your own. You got to have a place comfortable enough to bring your kids, because I see too many dudes who, when you was involved with the woman and you could go see the kid, meaning you go into your girl's house, the kid is there, everything is smooth. You get to play with little man in the house, get you a little something from the woman, have her make you some food. It's butter, right? Then your ass get up and leave. And she's stuck there in the house with the kid. This is the fact, right? But what happens when y'all don't fuck around no more? She don't want you at her house no more. You decided you don't want to mess with her no more, right? I've seen this crossroad with men where, okay, boom, now it gets real. Now I have to bring this. Now for me to spend time with this child, I have to bring him into my care. See the difference? I have to be the father. I got to be the empathetic one. I got to be nourishing when they need something to eat, when they cry and there's no mom around. If you choose to be in a situation where you're not in a relationship with the woman, for whatever reason, I'm not blaming you, player, but you're going to have to jump in damn near single father mode, where you have to say, okay, boom, I don't live with this woman. We're not in a relationship, but I have to create a base of stability for this child. So that has to be, boom, I'm going to come get you on the weekends. Boom, I'm going to get you every other week. I'm going to get you every week. I'm going to get joint custody, but something stable that a child can depend on. See? And this involves, because look, we got too many fucking $300 hustlers out here. We got too many young dudes who hustling because they don't want to work. Trying to hustle because they too lazy to go put in hours at a job, but that's the sacrifice you make when you have a child. You see what I'm saying? We got way too many street dudes out here. We got way too many dudes willing to risk their freedom for $1 without considering the ramifications or how this is going to affect everybody in their family, everybody around them. I'm not judging nobody. Do what you feel you need to do, but we all know that's not it. We all know there's a ceiling on street shit. We all know there's death or jail, somebody snitching on you. If you're really out there doing it, it's going to be one of these outcomes, right? So as a man, get yourself structured, fellas. Get your own apartment. Get a roommate. If you're living with somebody, make the environment kosher so you can bring your kid over. You know, I'm not judging how you the level of your success, but you have to include your children in it. So I see so many dudes who not going to get their kids every weekend on some real shit because they don't got nowhere to go. They don't even got nowhere they feel comfortable. So how do you think your kid's gonna feel? See, so young black fathers, one of the biggest things you need to do, because people are under the impression, family, that having a kid matures you. This is a misnomer. Having a child, becoming a young father, 18, 19, 20, 21, sometimes even older, that doesn't mature you as a man. You have to be headed in that direction already. That got to be something that's in you already. People think, oh, some dudes I've seen, they say, okay, boom, I'm gonna have a kid so that can make me a man. That can put me in a mature state of mind and now take care and do X, Y, and Z. That's false. If that shit's not in you already, you're not gonna do it. See? So all of this needs to be like a level of self-awareness is needed to operate out here. And all too often, we are individuals who haven't dealt with our trauma, haven't dealt with our baggage, don't know who we are, and we throw a kid right in the middle of that shit. How do you think the outcome is going to be? I'm tired of people looking at like a single mom who the dude is shiftless, the dude's not around for whatever reason. They looking at this situation and saying, boom, hey, look, he can become LeBron. He could become a doctor. He could become a lawyer. Let's cut the shit. If you a single mom in the hood raising a son, I know women who do a great job, like with finances and structure and all of these things. But if you have no resources, you're raising a young man in the hood, you lucky if he get out of that environment unscathed, right? I'm not saying you can't do good where you can put him in different schools or put him in different programs and things of this nature, but a young man needs a father. There's no way around that shit. A young boy needs a father. So if you put a young man in the jungle with no masculine energy, he's going to do what he sees in this environment. I think that happens most of the time. Yeah, you got women who hold it down and hella strong mentally, put the finances in place, but that still don't be enough. And and I've seen women from these environments produce a kid that go to college, produce a kid that got a good head on his shoulders. But all too often, that don't happen. Like you look at 1 + 1 = 2. If you put someone in a position where there's no, and this is considering like the good moms, the moms who know how to create structure, know how to create discipline. A lot of women don't know how to do that, especially for a boy, just keeping it real. So if you put your kid in the jungle with no structure and no resources, can you get mad that he's in a gang? Can you get mad that he's shooting at niggas? Can you get mad that he robbing people? No, because you didn't create the proper structure. And a part of that structure, black woman, is mating with a man want to be with you. Like this shit goes both ways. You see what I'm saying? So now we have young men. We can look at a young man being born in that environment where maybe the father ain't there. There's no structure there. And there's no resources. And then he's becomes a teenager and he's using his sex as a weapon now, where he's having sex frivolously as a way to kind of make him feel like a man. And he ends up having a kid. And now the cycle continues and it continues and it continues. So we talk a lot of shit about what we don't like about this system and how things are going. But how many of us are willing to break that cycle? Huh? How many of us are willing to break that cycle? And all that matters. So your stability as a man directly connects or has a direct link to the relationship you have with your children, whether you believe it or not. Because if you're not stable and structured in certain ways, how are you going to be stable and structured enough to go get your kids on a regimen type basis, right? Because they got to be around you. Just because you're not in a relationship with the woman no more don't mean you can't go get your kids. If she got a new man, if she tripping, you should have thought about that before you had a baby with said woman. See? So as men, let's be responsible, man. Let's put that bullshit to the side. Yeah, sometimes women be tripping and relying on the system and doing all this fuck shit. That's true. That's true, but ain't nothing you can do about that. You got to focus on what you can do. And sometimes you chose that woman. Yeah, that thing was good. You bypassed all the crazy signs, right? Men, we got to keep it real. You bypassed all the shit you seen about her that was crazy as hell because that thing was good, right? Now, baby come, now the shit get real. This is all a part of being young. This is all a part of being sexually irresponsible. This is something we got to talk about, though. You feel me? So stability is important for young fathers, young men. Also, I would tell a young black father, let's say, boom, you got the stability down point. You got a good job, nice enough job, got a little apartment, you got a roommate. living with your mom or somebody, but you got a stable environment to bring your kids to, and you work hard every day. I'm rocking with that. You created a partnership with the woman that you got a baby with. Yeah, y'all not in a relationship no more, but it's a partnership. The baby needs something, y'all do it together. There's a need for finances, y'all do it together. There's a need for a car to go somewhere or transportation, y'all do it together. Something at the school, y'all attempt to figure it out together as the man. Even if you don't got the money at the time, you don't got a car to drop them off nowhere. Well, what you do got is sweat equity. Like I always say, you got sweat equity, go over there and help out. How can I help out? I need to walk the baby to school. I need to watch him today. While you go do said thing, be a partner. That's all I'm saying. Be a partner to the woman you have a kid with. Try your best to. Yeah, women be on bullshit sometime, but you chose that woman that be on bullshit. Figure it out. See? So be a partner. And the last thing, so once you've made yourself stable in the ways necessary to sustain a life in this country, because it's difficult out here, made yourself stable, created a partnership, so y'all not enemies, y'all working together to raise this kid. Next thing you got to do as a young Black father is create the traditions and the templates that you see fit. See, what traditions are you going to uphold as a father? Right? Traditions, discipline, the ways of life you are going to institute in your kid's life. Because if you're stable and you're a partner, you're stable, you got your own spot, you're in a spot that you're comfortable and you can move freely. How are you going to run that environment? Is there going to be a bedtime? Are you going to read to the kids? How much TV you going to let them watch? Right? And now a big one. Something Black folks don't like to touch on, but I think it's extremely important to address all this shit in your household, because your house is like your small country. Yeah, the rules, regulations, stipulations are determined by you. Your house is controlled strictly by you. Once y'all go outside into the wild with all this bullshit, you got to deal with that. But in your house, it's your regulations. What traditions are you going to abide by, young Black man? Huh? I think this is the questions you need to begin asking yourself if you're a young father. If you're a father, you going to celebrate Christmas? If so, why? You going to pray at night? To who? If so, why? I'm of the belief that I personally think a Black person in this country, a melanated person in this country, you should divorce every tradition that was bestowed upon you, then double back. Let me tell you what I mean. We have to understand that the religions, or some religions, the holidays, like the structure of this country, what we celebrate, what we give our money to, a lot of this is bullshit. A lot of this is bullshit, and it can bring you more stress in the future if you don't pay attention to things correctly. So I'm not telling you what to do, but if you're going to be the leader of a family, why are you celebrating Easter? Why are you celebrating Halloween? You have a solid answer for celebrating this? None of it means what you think it means. No, so to me, to be a leader of a family, you got to be able to look at the outside world with a clear view. Remove the love you have for, like, because I know a lot of people who celebrate holidays and have different religious beliefs strictly because of their parents, because of the elder person around them that they loved and took care of them and involved them heavenly in these institutions. That don't mean shit, man. I know you love your mama. I know you love your daddy, but how you know you a Christian? Let's talk about it. How you know? You could be better. You could be a Muslim in your soul. Like, if you really do your due diligence, you could be better suited to be a Muslim, a Buddhist, atheist in a particular look. Make decisions for yourself, your household, the people in your house. You're ultimately going to be responsible for them when they walk outside of the door. So throw all that shit out of the window and come back to it. You may throw it all out and decide, yeah, I want to celebrate Easter. I want to celebrate Halloween for this reason. I want to celebrate Kwanzaa, Fucking, you pick it, right? But all too often, I come across black folks who don't care either way. Because people for years, and I wasn't aware of this completely. People have their perspective of things is so warped based on tradition, based on what they be taught, based on what they was taught. People thought I was an atheist strictly because I was like, I don't believe the religions. From what I've read, what I've researched, what I've seen, they stole hella shit from Africa. That book is plagiarized. I'm not believing what I see, I'm questioning it, and then I can come back to whatever that truth may be. But just believing whatever the fuck you told, and you're the leader of a household, good luck to your children. Good luck to your woman. See? So do your due diligence on everything you believe in America. All of it. Marriage, marriage, holidays, religion, shopping, fucking TV, everything we consume in this country, you would fare best by I think the best way to create. Oh shit, that's a spider. I think the best way to create a balanced perspective is to start from zero, right? Like, I don't believe nothing. I don't know nothing. Let me research all this shit. See what makes sense, see what doesn't. With my logical, clear perspective, let me see what makes sense to me. So then I can teach it to my children. This is why, like, I'm talking about religions and holidays and different types of institutions and structures in this country. But this is why Black history is so important to me too. For the father, I'm talking to the fathers. If you as a man or a woman don't give a shit about our history, it's a good chance your kids won't. Believe me when I say this, young men who don't have a family yet, you're not in the house with a family yet, your family is gonna go by your vibe. Like, sometimes if I come in my house and I'm mad, I have an attitude, my mind is somewhere else, that energy transfers into the people in the house. If I come in the house and I'm on point and aware and jovial and interacting, that changes the energy in the house. Black man, know your goddamn power. Like, sometimes we just get too frivolous with what needs to happen. I don't care. I ain't tripping. Whatever. Hell no. Hell no. Because look, you ain't got to teach your kids shit in the house. You ain't got to teach them nothing. Just give them food and send them to bed. But when they go outside, somebody gonna teach them. Somebody gonna show it to them. Somebody gonna expose them to it. Wouldn't you rather it be you? Wouldn't you rather it be your wife or your woman or the woman that you with? Wouldn't you rather it be someone in the actual fucking home? Right? So these are the different levels of what needs to be thought about as we enter into parenthood, fatherhood, being melanated Americans, being stolen fucking Africans, most of us, with these weird ass last names and no tradition and no trace of where we come from for the most part. We have a really specific We have a really specific situation in this country. And as a Black man, you need to be aware of this. So your kids are the future. Your kids are the people who are going to be running this country, be involved in this country 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. Your kids are going to have kids, and their kids are going to have kids. What's the legacy you want your last name to leave? Right? What do you want your legacy to be as a family, as a man? See? So this is what we need to be thinking about when it's time to be a parent. This is the real shit. This is what we need to be thinking about when it's time to procreate, because we sometimes be around this motherfucker acting like bucks, because back in the slavery days, they used to have bucks who it would be a big old black man who has these attributes that are good for picking cotton, and they would put him in a barn with 30 women, and he just got to mate with all of them, his sisters, his mama. You know what I mean? I'm not saying we going to that route, but I'm saying the mentality of using your dick as a weapon, like using your dick to solve your problems. That's not how you solve your problems, fam. Right? We need to be cognizant of the fact that sometimes as a man, if you're not doing good, you're not following your dreams, you're not living out your life to the best of your ability, and you know it, you try to control the only thing you can, which is women at times. which is the conquest of women at times, because you can't conquer this fucking job you got. You can't conquer this business idea you thinking about. See? It's some deep shit. We got a lot of dudes around here just fucking frivolously because that's all they got. That's all they got. I can't do nothing else in my mind. I'm not good at nothing else. Got this little shitty ass job, but I got bitches. You ever seen somebody? You ever seen a man like that? Like, we gotta, as you get older, family, you have to divorce your immature ways of thinking and understand how you've been affected by this society, by your family or lack thereof. Like, accountability and awareness is important. So because everything I went through with having kids so early, I'm highly passionate about us approaching things the right way, because I see the effects of everything I've been in my children. I see the effects of me being a stable father at times who can provide information and love and somewhat of resources. I've seen the take from me not doing things right, me fumbling in instances where they needed me, or instances where they needed guidance, or they needed something that I didn't have and went about it all the fucking wrong way. I see the effects of all my decisions in the temperament, in the level of stability mentally and physically in my children. And this is for all of us. So the mating process, having a baby, starting a family, this is serious shit, man, that needs to be taken as such, because we can complain about white supremacy and racism as much as we want to, but if we're not raising our kids, you just as bad as a white supremacist, my guy. I'm sorry to tell you that, because if you don't correct your child in your home, you don't add structure and discipline to your child in your home, don't worry, the police will. The white middle-aged school teacher will. Some authority figure will, because you didn't. And that's a fact. You feel me? So this is your brother Harrison, man. Melanated Convo Podcast. Did the thing myself today. You feel me? I'm able to, you know what I mean, do it solo bolo. I like doing it like that at times as well. So follow your boy, man. Melanated Convo on YouTube, all the digital podcast platforms you can find this show as well. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Google Podcasts, all these different places. Precision Design Studio is the name of the business. Precision Create is the website. Go to the website, get your shirts, go to the website, click the button that says customize orders, where you can look into my pricing if you want me to customize some shirts for you. This Sunday, the 21st, I'll be at the Malcolm X Fest doing my show live, you feel me, with my brother Barry Axius. You know what I mean? So thank y'all, man. Thank y'all for tuning into another show. I did my show a little later than normally, so I know the playback, most of my regulars will probably hear it on the playback, but I appreciate y'all, man. This is your brother Harrison, Melanated Convo Podcast.